Hello, happy Wednesday, my savvy done for you service provider, scaling to 10K months. We have a big announcement today, so stay tuned because we've got that coming. But today we're talking about the biggest mindset shift I made that helps me get fully booked with high ticket clients. So I'm really excited about that. Hope y'all are having a great summer. Got the kids home this week. They're doing mom camp. So this morning we went downtown and went to the Children's Museum, which was something we haven't done in years. I've got 3 girls, so when my oldest 2 were like 2 under 2, we used to go every week. Like we had a membership and we went all the time. Then my 3rd came along. We moved over here to Mount Pleasant, so we were a little farther away, and then COVID hit, so like we haven't been. We've been a couple times like over the years, but it was so funny being back today because it just was like a blast from the past that I was like, oh my gosh, like this used to be me with my strollers, with my little kids, diapers, all the things. And now I'm the one here with like the big kids running around. So it was just like this like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But just reiterates why I'm so excited to take them to the mountains next month. We're leaving this weekend, this Saturday. We take off the month of July. We go off the grid. We're on the top of a mountain. I have to walk up a gravel road to get and receive text messages. Like I can kind of post to stories from the top of the mountain. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, what are you doing with your life? Be sure to get over there. I'm Ilderton_bookkeeping_coaching. So that's basically where I'm going to kind of share stuff on stories because that's kind of like the only service I get. We will drive into Brevard like once a week and probably go to the library, and I'll check in with my team, make sure everything's running because we still keep the bookkeeping going. But basically that's kind of like my, like, yes, like we kind of just all need permission to like lean back a little bit in the summer. So take this as your permission. We're in Charleston, so like back in the day, people would literally like leave downtown, go out to Sullivan's Island for the summer, and like nobody worked. So obviously that's not really how our lives are these days, but I kind of want to take that back. And just give people that permission. Like things slow down in the summer. I mean, granted in Charleston, there are some businesses that this is their busy season, and I totally get that. But when you have that capacity to slow down, take it. So that's what we're doing. So just being there at the Children's Museum just made me like, oh yes, this is why I'm taking them to the mountains. They just grow so fast. It's not even fair. So we will be gone. So for the next month, all my live streams will be replays. I went back through, I pulled some really great ones that had, I can see the insights on them to see which ones really landed with y'all. So we will replay those. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig in. So let me pull up my notes. And it's funny, I really didn't do a lot of notes today. Typically I'm just like really got like a page of notes, but today I journaled about it this morning. I'm kind of telling you my story. I'm kind of giving you behind the scenes. So I'm just going to kind of fly by the seat of my pants here. But, we also have a giveaway. I know someone hopped on. So hello, thanks for joining. If you comment live or on the replay, we are giving away my free training, How I Pay Myself 10K Months. And these are 5 questions you can steal and you can ask yourself to create 5-figure months in your own business without taking on boatloads of clients or working 24/7. So that is what we've got as a giveaway. We'll announce the winner here in the group on Friday. So leave your comments, ask your questions. I love getting your feedback and just really appreciate you being here. So that is a really fun takeaway. And let me get the group pulled up because sometimes on my phone, it doesn't tell me your questions or comments, but even on the replay, I always love to answer things. So let me know, but we'll go ahead and jump in. Talking about the biggest mindset shift that helped me get fully booked with high ticket clients. So if y'all know my story, I started my business 8.5 years ago. I started when my first daughter was 2 weeks old. I had two more daughters in quick succession after that from 2015 to 2018. Kids peeking in, So I was very busy. I started with bookkeeping. I worked nap times and night times. I had my kids home until they were about age 2, and then they started going to daycare. So there was like 5 years where like I just always worked every little nugget of time that I could. And then 3 years ago, I really was like, oh shit, like the bookkeeping is great, but I see so much potential with these business owners. Like I feel like there's this elephant in the room. No one's talking about it. They don't understand their expenses. They don't understand how to increase revenue. Like there's just so much that we can do. So that's when I pivoted and started offering one-to-one coaching. That's all I do. So it's a 6-month container together, and I get in their numbers. I'm helping them with their revenue. I've realized the numbers part was always my zone of excellence. I'm really good at bookkeeping. I'm really good at numbers and data, but like my zone of genius is just really coaching people, like being there for people, seeing them as a human and coaching them to get out of their own way, to stop apologizing, to stop playing small, to go for what they want. And that has been so fucking rewarding. So that's my journey, and that's kind of where I am now. Now we range anywhere, with bookkeeping, I got capped out at like $8,000 a month. Now that I've pivoted to high ticket, we have like 16K to 23K months. It's very dependent on the number of clients I'm supporting and the revenue share piece. So part of the payment to me is 10% of new revenue. So that's like literally not anything I can control over. So that, revenue will fluctuate every month. But that's where we're at now. And this is something I truly love. Like when I leave next month and I don't see my clients for a month, like I am going to be sad. I'm having like wrap up calls this week, not wrap up calls, but it's our last call until August. I'm just like, oh, I miss you. But I just know this is just great. Like my clients always come back, like hitting the ground running. They took some time off. They're on fire. Like this is just a great kind of like reset month. So, but I just love what I do. I fucking love it. And so that's where I am. And that's who, kind of what I do and how I got here, if you didn't know. But the number one mindset shift that has helped me basically fill out my spots with high ticket clients is that I was willing to get one-to-one support. And I know we hear get support in your business all the time, get support, but I'm not talking about a VA. I'm not talking about a social media manager or a web designer. I am talking about one-to-one support. Someone who knows you, who knows your business, who knows your bullshit, who knows all the stuff you've got coming up around people pleasing or around enoughness or around not being worthy or your worthiness being tied to how much money and clients you make. Like one-to-one support is the most confronting thing, and it is the thing to literally grow your business. So I'll just give you, this is my own story, just sharing for full disclosure. When I first started wanting to offer one-to-one services, I did a group program. It was very like masculine accountant. I was one of the few females in there. It was a 3-month program. It was $9,000. I wanted to vomit. My hand was shaking when I gave them the card to pay for it. I had never spent that much money in my business. I had a homemade website at that point. I had photos from my iPhone, like no branding, but I had gotten to like $8K a month with just being a bookkeeper with zero marketing, spending zero money. Like I had crazy high profit margins, but I know I wanted to offer more services. I wanted to go deeper. So I did this group program training and it was fine. I am grateful for it. I would spend the money again because it lit a fire under my ass and showed me what was possible. So I am grateful for that. But I don't use basically anything from it. Like it was so, it's crazy to me to think I spent $3,000 a month to show up to group coaching programs. So in front of everyone, in front of all these other men, you have to say if you had a best fit call with someone, how it went, did they buy from you? If they did, what are you charging? Oh, you're not charging enough. Why aren't you charging enough? Like in front of everyone, like it was so uncomfortable and I couldn't get the coaching that I needed because I was just not willing to put myself on the line like that in front of a bunch of freaking strangers. Like I just wasn't going to do it. Like I went a little bit in, but I was like, I'm not sharing my deepest fears and struggles for all of y'all here. Like I can't do that. And that's to me like the downside of group coaching. Like you can get some good information, and that's why I always say like do a group program or do something like that for information. Don't do it for a transformation because it is so freaking hard to get a transformation from a group program because no one wants to put themselves out there. Like I'm very raw and vulnerable in my one-to-one coaching, but I could never do that in front of a group. Like I just can't. And so there was definitely a like block. Like I only got so far. I hit a plateau with that. After I did that, I knew that this was just like, okay, that wasn't it. I need something smaller. So I did a small mastermind group with like 4 other women. It was very woo. It was in the other direction of the masculine accountant program. It was like orgasmic manifestation. Like there was zero strategy. You're basically like doing crystals and full moon things and imagining people in your DMs wanting to hire you. Like I went 180 degrees in the opposite direction. And that, I can't say I would spend that money again. I'm sure it gave me something that I get to take away with. I guess it gave me knowledge that there are people out there that teach that stuff. Like, I am very practical, no BS, let's do strategy, and very much believe in the mindset and the woo and the manifestation, but like, you gotta have some strategy. Like, you can't just like visualize the DMs coming in. That's bullshit. And there are people out there charging for that. There are people out there paying for it like I did. I mean, it was over $4,000, so it was over $1,000 a month. So again, I could be on these calls with multiple other people in front of them, sharing my shit, you know, or not, kind of holding back because I was uncomfortable and skirting around what I really wanted to talk about because I didn't want to be vulnerable in front of like 4 other people. And then I had to sit there while they were talking about their boy problems, and I'm like, I'm here to talk about my business. Like, what the fuck? Like, I could do this with my girlfriends. I did this with my girlfriends back in my 20s, and I didn't pay $1,000 a month for this, like over $1,000. So to me, it's just a joke for that type of thing. But again, I'm sure it gave me like good takeaways to see that does sell. People are buying it, you know, looking at where I was in that place where I bought it. I have a lot of compassion for myself, but again, that was not the thing that filled up. I don't think I got one client after I worked with that. And this is the thing I talk to people about, is that they're willing to invest in these kinds of things, but they're not willing to invest in one-to-one. Like, I talked to a girl recently who invested in a one-to-one coach. I think it was one-to-one. And she didn't get any clients from it, but she got her branding in place. So it's like, I mean, I'd rather have clients than like have my branding on point. I know people who are in like these social squads or groups that are like $800 a month, which is almost $1,000. And like, to me, I'm just like, after being in groups, I'm like, I want one-to-one. I want someone who knows me, knows my shit, who is able to call me out, like knows my business. And that's what I do with my clients. Like, that is the only support I give, because I've been in these other programs, I've done these other things, and I've seen they don't give the transformation. Like, my life has been transformed. And I'll give you like a breakdown of where I was. So when I hired my one-to-one coach, I was making $4,000 a month as a bookkeeper. I was also paying a social media manager at that point. I was paying $3,500 a month for childcare. So like, that was like an expense that literally came out of my bank account every month, $3,500, no matter what. Like, the money was always there because I worked my ass off and I always had something in there, but like $3,500 a month just to get started, and then add on the social media manager, and then, you know, like add on the coach. Like, I was like I cried one month because my profit margins were like slim to none, and I just had to like, you know, it's just the trade-off of being like, okay, I can have really high profit margins, like 85% profit margin, which is crazy high, but I'm going to be capped at $8,000 a month. So it's like, that's my choice. I can either let my profit margin go down and then my revenue can skyrocket. I have made an ROI on all of my investments. Like, I don't know the exact number because I didn't pull it up before this, but just to give you an idea of like where I was making like the $4,000, paying a coach, paying a social media manager, paying $3,500 a month for school or for my kids' schools. And then now to making like, we average 18 to 20K a month. Like, that's pretty much where we stand. Like, I'm excited if we make 23K. I'm not mad if we make 16, but it's just generally like 18's like my sweet spot. So like, just to see how much that has grown since then, and my expenses stay the same. Like, that's scaling, is that you scale your revenue, but your expenses stay the same. And that's why I just am such an advocate for one-to-one work, because the base rate stays the same, but you have someone, you have me in your back pocket that knows you and your business. And I make things simple. I have scaled one funnel to multi-6 figures, and that's what I support my clients to do. They are not creating new offers every other month. They are not flip-flopping with what type of business they do. They're not like on every single platform. They're not changing things up constantly. Like, we pick and stick, and then I support them to stay in it, because that's kind of the hardest part. Like, in the beginning, when we're doing all the strategy stuff, it's kind of like, okay, cool, we're doing stuff. And then at some point, you got to kind of like sit on your hands and you got to let things play out. And like, we test and tweak, and it's like, okay, which Facebook groups are working? Which stories are working? Which posts are landing? Like, okay, are people responding to this? Are they getting in this? Like, we're tweaking constantly, but we're not just totally like, okay, scratch that, new offer, here we go. Like, that is not it. So if you want someone to help you take one funnel to multi six figures, I am your girl. I'm a fucking genius at it. Like, this is my jam. Like, I love doing this stuff. And it's so obvious to me when people come to me, like helping them get these pieces in place and then supporting them to stay in it. When a client wants to back out, or when just shit gets kicked up, because that happens, somebody cancels, someone said yes, and now they're not getting back to them. Like, being a business owner is so confronting. It's like being a parent. Like, the best lesson in personal development you will ever get. And so having someone like me being there when you're freaking out, I'm there in Voxer. I've got in-between support for all of my clients. It's unlimited. Like, I am there with you when you're just like, oh shit, this person said this, they want to back out, they want to cancel, they want a refund. Like, you have someone there with you. So it's just like the most supportive thing. Like, my clients are always talking about how held they feel, how supported, how good, like just how good everything feels being a business owner. And to me, that's like the biggest compliment. So I think I was going to look at my notes. Okay, I went through that. So yeah, I help my clients scale their revenue. Like, that is a huge piece of it. And that's obviously like the main reason they hire me, but they feel so good about what they're doing. They feel so empowered. They can stop people pleasing. They can stop bending over backwards. They can step into their power. They can own their awesomeness and their magic and what they bring to the world, and really step into that identity that they want to be. A lot of the work we do in the beginning is like, who do you want to be? Like, who is that 5-figure business owner? Who is that, 10K a month business owner? Who is she? What does she believe? What does she like? How does she think about business? How does she think about things? Like, let's lean on her, because you've got to have that identity first. You've got to be the multi 6-figure business owner before you actually have the multi 6 figures. Like, you don't get to 10K, 20K a month without first being that person who makes 10K to 20K a month. Like, you've got to be that person and step into them. And that's what I really help my clients do. I help them own who they are in a very authentic way. Like, to me, we take one funnel to multi 6 figures, but it's not like a copy and paste. It's not like, here's what I did, here's what I did, here's what I did, do this, this, and this. Like, it's not that. It's very much based on who you are as a person, what you like, what your preferences are. Like, we build a business around you and what you want, because that is the most sustainable way. You can Google online how to build a scalable business, and one person will say, you got to do masterminds. Another will say, you got to do memberships. Another person will say this, but like, we're literally building a business that sets you up for success, because it's intentional and it's sustainable. Because if you don't have that, if you're building a business based on what somebody else said is the right business model, or what someone else said will make money, like, you're going to want to burn that shit down, like, after, I don't know, a year. Like, you've got to be able to build something that you feel so lit up, that you feel so excited about every single day. And it's not, we don't all feel on fire every single day. Like, there are points in my cycle where I'm just like, I just want to crawl on the couch and like not write some content today, and I'm not feeling super inspired. Like, we definitely have those days, but more often than not, I am on fire. I am lit up. I love getting in with my clients, and that's what I want for you, and that's what I support my clients to do, is build a business that they love, not that some online guru told them to do, and market it like XYZ and show up XYZ times a week and say this, that, and the other, and here's a script for your best fit calls, because that is bullshit. That can work for like a little ways, like that'll probably get you some amount of success, but like, that's not where you blow up your bank account, where you have the best fit, most aligned clients just rolling in, signing your engagement letters, like so excited to work with you, like you're laughing on calls, you're having fun. Like, that's not how you build that kind of business. And that's the kind of business you want to get to 10 or 20K or 50K or whatever K. We have clients that make 200K a month. Like, whatever your goal is, it needs to really be authentic and specific to you. And that's how we build your business. And that's the kind of support I give. It's not this cookie cutter bullshit, like, do XYZ, do it in this way.